Have I given up on my Apple Watch? Let me tell you about it. Dave Taylor here, and when the Apple Watch came out, I stayed up late and ordered it online the very first minute it was available. And I was very excited to get it, and I wore it on my wrist, and I just sort of went through the whole experience of having an Apple Watch. But you know what? A year and a half later, it sits on my shelf and I'm wearing a different watch. Now, I thought it'd be interesting for me to share with you my thought process, and before you buy your own Apple Watch, you might want to consider some of the points I make. First off, 42 millimeter Apple Watch in gray, whatever the gray they call it is, and I put a custom leather band on it so it's a little more attractive than the standard Apple Watch bands. And I've worn it for a long time, and I have multiple charging stations. I've figured out everything to do with how it works with my phone. It gets lots of notifications. There's lots to like about it. It's very fun. But what actually happened was I got a different watch. So this is the Casio Edifice, and this watch just works so much better for me. And as you can see, it's just an analog watch. Now it has some secret digital smarts. It synchronizes with the phone so that you can actually manage the world time. There's a little dial, and so it's always in sync, so it's always on time. So my watch is always spot on. But a lot of this is the aesthetic. So let me show you. Here's my wrist with the Casio on, and I just like the look of it. It's a big masculine watch for my big wrist. Looks good. Now, by contrast, here's my wrist with the Apple Watch on it. And really, pretty much regardless of what face I put on it, it's just a less masculine appearance. Now, that might not matter to you, and that's okay. But for me, when I look down and want to check the time or something, I like the appearance. I like the feel of this. And I will say I get a lot of compliments having just a regular old analog watch. Now, there's another piece of this that's actually perhaps even more important, and that is when I'm wearing the Apple Watch, it's constantly vibrating and notifying me, so I'm really plugged in. But that's not a positive thing. What I find is that I'm really paying attention. And so my friends have learned, and it's just annoying for them, and I apologize, guys, but when I have my Apple Watch on, I'm doing this, I'm checking this, I'm doing this, instead of paying attention. Now, it's really sort of the wrist version of what you see with a lot of teens where they're on their phones, even though there'll be a group of them at a restaurant or at an ice cream parlor or something. They're all in their little tiny individual digital worlds. And if that's your thing, then the Apple Watch is fantastic because you're always plugged in, you're always getting all the notifications. Every Facebook post, every Instagram like, every Snapchat that comes in, boom, you know about it instantly. But for me, I find that that's actually stressful. And so after some period of time, wearing the watch versus not wearing the Apple Watch, I'm calmer. I actually seem to, feel just a more calm person by not having all those notifications constantly vibrating on my wrist. Now, there are other factors that make the Apple Watch a hassle too, not the least of which is charging. So this Casio, it's actually solar powered. How cool is that? All I have to do is for like 10-15 minutes a day have it in the sun and it's good to go. Now, it's even better than that because I don't pay attention at all, and it's been running perfectly well for months now. So no issues. I never have to take it off. It's waterproof, all those features. Now, the Apple Watch does have some water resistance and stuff, but let's be frank, you have to charge it all the time. And every night you have to take it off your wrist and put it on a charging stand, which means that it could theoretically be monitoring your sleep, except for that pesky 24-hour battery thing. And that's 24 hours if you're lucky. So if you're getting tons of notifications and using it, it's not even that long. So I really like the technology of the Apple Watch, but I have to say that after all this period of time of having it, it's not on my wrist anymore. And I'm just wearing a regular old analog watch that I probably could have bought 50 years ago and it would have been the same basic design. So if you're poised to buy an Apple Watch or you have an Apple Watch, I'll encourage you to really look at your options. And if you do have an Apple Watch on your wrist right now, take it off and give yourself a couple of days and just see what that feels like. So, this is Dave Taylor with the Apple Watch and the Casio Edifice. and you can see which one's actually on my wrist. And I hope this is food for thought. I'll catch you in my next video.